It's another quick, easy, fun one this week because you don't need a lot of time to practice creative self-care, and you don't need to spend a lot of money to reclaim your creativity. Maybe as I did, you had a week that did not go as planned. And this week's video is, again, like last week's video, not what I had planned. However, it is another fun, simple, relaxing exercise you can do when you only have a few minutes or you can spend more time on. You don't need a lot of time to practice creative self-care. I have a pen. I also have a number 2 pencil and 2 colored markers. These are basically the Amazon version of Sharpies. This again was from inspiration I found on Instagram, and I will link that in the description. So we first start by making some corner dots. We're going to be making a frame, but instead of making straight lines, we're going to go wavy. Not quite as wavy as when we are doing my simple form of neurographic art, but definitely not straight. This week's creative self-care art is all about dots and lines. Choose a spot for your first dot and then curve a line out. Now the next thing we're going to do is come back, but not all the way to the dot. We're going to start a little bit out from our dot, come around our dot, and then follow our line. Then add a few more. How many lines is at your discretion. Another dot. On this side of the paper, we'll go the other way. And maybe easier on your first round if you're not making yours so close, if you're not placing your dots so close to your edges as I did. As well as working with our mind quieting rounded lines. For technique, we will also look at how we can create depth by giving the impression of shadows, but it'll be a bit till we're there. As you can see, my lines are not evenly spaced. Different dots have different number of lines. Just relax into the act of making your lines. Now, dots on this side of your paper don't have to go the same direction. They can even go under, back up. And here is a belated welcome to this week's creative self-care small art prompt on Better with Art. I'm Melinda, and I'm here to encourage you to reclaim your creativity and practice creative self-care with weekly small art prompts that can be done in an art journal or on paper if you don't have one. I do suggest, if you want to start participating with Better with Art prompts and you don't have an art journal or can't invest in one right now, that you do get something like a folder in which to keep your better with art. One of the benefits of an art journal is its privacy and the freedom to experiment and express ourselves without fear of what others will think. My lines may have gotten a little away from me. That's okay. I keep thinking about talking to you lovely watchers who I appreciate for giving me the opportunity to remind you that taking time to make art is not a waste of time. We are wired for creativity, made in the image of the Creator, and when we are not taking time to exercise our creativity in ways we enjoy and find meaningful, we can't be as healthy as we would be. If you've been around a while, you know that the 100-day project of 2022 is when I finally gave myself permission to make art every day. Maybe for some of you that was the 52-week art journal journey that I started on YouTube in 2023. Or maybe Better with Art has been your inspiration to be making art regularly. What I have found in establishing a regular art practice is what I want to share with as many people as possible. So here we are on another Sunday. Well, this will be going live on what is for me in the morning. It is Saturday evening here for me. Saturday night. So next I'm going to choose a few of my sections, one in each of the segments that go with a dot. For each dot you have, choose one of the segments that radiates out from it and draw whatever design you would like. Stripes, circles. Okay, speed it up a little bit there and went out of line, but that's okay. It is the process we are more interested in than the product. Which brings me back to how having an art journal is good for us. Being able to just enjoy creating without being concerned about what others think is liberating. Particularly when it is paired with your not being so judgmental of your work and play. Your willingness to just relax, have fun, and simply get caught up in the pleasure of making without concern for how it will turn out. So this, you're going to come out with something pretty cool. So as well as, let's see, one, two, as well as having a patterned segment in each swirl, we will have some color. In my Instagram inspiration, the artist used only one color, but I thought two would be fun. Take as much or as little time as you have for this project. If you have 5 minutes, have 5 minutes. You can also start something and come back to it. Make some dots in a frame. An exercise like this can be open-ended. I'm sorry my coloring is a little off kilter, as well as my hand cramping up. There's the awareness of being watched. My art journal art is not art I would necessarily want to share with anyone if it wasn't for wanting to encourage others to just relax and enjoy art making. And now that I'm into it, I see that having only one color actually will work better than trying to put 2 colors into each of my swirls. Of course, who says they have to be that balanced? Maybe you could add a color to just a few, or just one, or no color at all. Do whatever works for you. I gave you a starting point, and you can use it however you see fit. Maybe you've come across my video and just hearing what you know reiterated, you know that making art is healthy for you. And maybe hearing someone say that I am saying that I gave up regular art making for years. In part because I always felt like there was so many more important things to do. It didn't matter that I knew how much more balanced I felt when I would take the time to just make art. I think my swirls would have been better with a few more lines. My spacing's a little weird. But again, I am trying this exercise for the first time. To give you another simple art activity that you can add to your arsenal of quick, simple doodles. Oh, yeah. Not liking those greens knocking up against each other, but that's okay. It's another simple art project that you can do. Project, activity, exercise, type of line making, doodling, however you want to look at it. It's a great exercise to practice some creative self-care and enjoy some relaxing. Now, you know, this line and that line, adding those extras to those two, that would have been a good place. One of those, maybe just one of them would have been a cool place to add some purple, just to add some interest. And you know what? I think I'll do that here. But I'm also getting further away from the other thing I promised, which was how, as well as just making interesting art that's just more about the process than the result, we can also look at a little bit of technique. And by that, I mean investigating how we can create depth by giving the impression of shadows. Now, you could use something more water soluble if you have it. Of course, I'm smudging my shadow up into the white part, so let's try to avoid that. I'm using a number 2 pencil because most of us have number 2 pencils where we might not have other art supplies. And as well as better with art projects, needing to be able to be done in a relatively short amount of time, even if you have just a few minutes. I also aim to use materials that are as inexpensive and easily to access as possible, because you don't need to have a lot of time to practice creative self-care with art making, and you don't need a lot of money to reclaim your creativity. I just put the shadow on the wrong side of my line. You saw me erase. How often do I do that when I always say that the goal is just to make the art? I should check to see how these are actually showing up on camera. My shadows look like weird lines, or they're too blended, or let's see. Yeah. Creating something dark, but not as dark as our edge line, and having it sort of feather off creates the look of a shadow. I guess I'm going to stop trying to soften the edge so much. It's causing too many problems. Like shoving shadow where it doesn't belong and taking the shading away from the edge of the line, which is problematic for the effect we're going for, because then it's just some line floating in the middle of nowhere. So if adding shadows is not something you want to mess around with today, this week, that's fine. Again, do what works for you. And I'm not erasing now. I'm using the eraser to blend my shadow lines in. Oh, that is so not a good eraser. I guess it was at one point, but I believe I was saying a little while ago that maybe you have stumbled upon this week's Better with Art prompt, and it's not really doing anything for you, but hearing me say that taking time to make art is not a waste of time and knowing how good art making is for your mental health, you are feeling like making some of your own art. And that is awesome too. Well, for the technique part of this video, I'm not accomplishing quite how I envisioned it. However, I think you're getting an idea. Pretty sort of smooth. Ugh, it keeps going on too dark. It's okay. Your time is precious. I have shown you an interesting project I saw on Instagram and will share with you, and reassured you that taking time to make art is not a waste of time. Maybe not awesomely well, but I've given you an idea, a little bit of technique, using shading to create depth. And shared a good relaxing exercise. The markers that I use and the art journal I recommend for my simple form of art journaling that encompasses varied medium, wet, dry, and layered, as well as the markers. Did I say markers? Yes, I did. And pen will be linked in the description with the Instagram reel. A link so you can sign up to receive no more than weekly emails from me. It's very much not even weekly right now, but you will also receive a link to join my Better With Art online community, private Facebook group. And there will also be a link to be notified of upcoming workshops, online and in person, where you can make art with me and or jewelry. I do make other than Better With Art, art journal art. If you have found value in this video, if you plan to make some art, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I am here every week with another Better With Art, small art, creative self-care prompt. And hopefully the studio videos I keep promising will be back. We'll be back soon. The first one, 5 steps to loosen up and create your own unique style of asemic writing. I had a lot of fun with the 100-day project with my 100 collage papers last year and sharing that here on YouTube. But I haven't kept up with the weekly videos, and I really, well, the weekly studio videos as opposed to just Better With Art videos on Sunday. But I do prioritize the Better With Art videos. Whatever else you do or don't do this week, take some time to practice creative self-care with art making. Okay, I don't want to go out on where I just completely trashed a white spot. Let's see. Okay, it's not ideal, and that's okay. It's my art journal. I experimented. I learned, and I got to relax in the fun creation of lines and design. Make art, because we are better with art.